everybody tries to control you. Like, how does that work out for you, Abram, specifically? And how does that work out for me? I see it in a first person point of view. Like, once you start messing up in life, people will start wanting to control you. And that's why I go with the whole idea of we have superpowers. These people have supernatural capabilities that are hidden from us because we call it everyday things. And then when things start going really awry, we start to call them sicknesses or disabilities. And once that person has a disability, the people around them take advantage of them and they control every single aspect of what they do. Like for me, for example, I wasn't doing the right things. Like I was smoking weed, I was selling weed, and everybody's looking at that. And then I got sick from it. So they're like, oh, this is your fault because you decided to do something that we told you not to do. And I'm just sitting here like, I'm just living life, bro. Like, how am I supposed to know what's right and wrong until I do it? You know what I mean? Like, you telling me that this is wrong won't really mean much to me until I figure it out myself. And then they're like, you're just dumb. So they're just looking at you like you're a dumb person. And then they take guardianship of you, like what my family did. They took guardianship of me. And then what guardianship does is that they control your money, they control what you sign up for. Like if you were to get an apartment, you would still need a guardian to make that decision for you, or they could take you to court and they could take it all away. Um, so you lose control of your money, you lose control of a lot of freedom when people take guardianship over you. And guardianship should be like a last resort thing, but a lot of people use it as the very first thing they think of. Like that's what I thought of when my sister did it to me. I was like, why did you think of that? And she was like, it's because when you get put into the hospital, they don't tell us what we need to know. And in order to protect you, we got guardianship over you. And that was very surprising to me because I was like, the people that pushed for me to go back home were the doctors and my lawyer. So my lawyer and my doctor is like, let Abram come back home. But my parents, my family was like, no, we don't want him back home until he takes a certain type of medication. And if he doesn't take that type of medication, he could stay in the hospital. So when they got guardianship over me, I was like, that your whole narrative kind of flipped. That's where it's like you lose control, and these people that control you, they turn another leaf, man. Like they don't seem like the same people anymore because they're doing things and they think this out of obligation towards you, but really it's obligation towards them. Who are they protecting when they do this? When a person gets a guardianship over you, it sounds like they are protecting you, but who are they really protecting? They're protecting themselves. Um, how are they protecting themselves? I'm not really sure. I can't really put it into words, but the way I see it in my situation, uh, by not being able to force me to do anything, they feel like they are out of control. So they want some type of control over what I do and the decisions that I make. That's what guardianship is. So when you see, basically, when you start to see the other things that they're able to control, that's when you're like, oh, I get it now. They want full control over me. So that's essentially what I'm working with. I don't have control over my money. I don't have control over where I can go. Money is like freedom. So when I get my disability check, it goes to my sister's name. And then from there, she distributes it to me and she dictates however she wants to distribute it. If she thinks that she's giving me too much money, she'll start to cut back. And she'll say that it's for my good, my better, for the better of me, but I see the end result. It's like I'm the one that can't go anywhere. I'm the one that's depressed because I can't control my own money. And she sees it as, we're protecting you. You shouldn't be depressed. You should know that you have someone watching your back. And that's when I'm just like, bro, I was watching my back the whole fucking time. Um, because who made that decision at the end of the day to come back home and not be put into a mental facility? That was me. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. Um, and yeah, it was me. I'm the one that has to make the hard decisions in life. She doesn't have to make hard decisions. All she has to do is she she just dictates what goes on. And I'm just like, okay, but I have to go through all the experiences. So when she calls the police come and pick me up, and then I have to stay in holding. And then I have to uh, go see doctors, and I have to talk to them, and I have to deal with them. And what does she do? She just sits at home, and then she's like, well, it's stressful for us because we're trying to find out where you're at. And I'm like, bro, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? This was starting to sound like one of those homeless kids that you talk to and they're just on the street, and then you finally pick up a camera and record them, and you're just like, let's hear your side of the story. That's what I feel like every time I go in front of the camera. And I find it very interesting. It's very interesting because you see people on the street and you're like, how did you get here? And it's mostly because it's mostly like my story. It's like, well, my family tried to control what I was doing and I didn't like that. So I ended up on the street. That's usually what you hear from the younger people. And then you listen to their story and you're like, you must have been doing something wrong. And it's like, of course I was doing something wrong, but the chains that they put on me was way too much. It was like I was in jail, but I was at home. You know what I mean? So I might as well be out on the street if I'm going to be in jail no matter where I go. Either you're going to call the cops on me and then I'll go to jail, or I'm going to stay in your house and you're going to treat me like a jailmate. So that's essentially what that comes down to. You know what I mean? Like, you sit there, you wonder, you're asking yourself questions. And for me, seeing the homeless people and knowing that I was just one step there, like I was a step away from being homeless. Um, it really, it just gets you thinking. You know what I mean? It really gets you thinking. Like, you're like, how do I get myself out of that situation? And for me, it was mostly like, okay, you just have to take your medication and then you'll be fine. But at one point when I was taking my medication, I wasn't fine. Like, in my head, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm not happy. I'm really not happy. And that one thing, happiness, and you're not able to be happy, really dictates everything. And people don't understand that. Like, why are those people on the street? Because they're not happy at home. Why are they on the street? They're not happy in jail. But you guys keep putting them in those situations. And you're asking, can these people take care of themselves? Clearly they can. If they're out on the street and they're on the street for like 6 months, they're on the street for years, 2, 3 years, they can clearly take care of themselves. But if they just had a place to stay, wouldn't that be better? And I think they're doing this in Finland, where individuals are given housing And housing, they said that housing is a human right. It's not something that you have to work for. And that resonated with me so much because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, what can what can these stars do? You know what I mean? What can millionaires do? What can billionaires do? All they do is they build more housing structures, but then you have to think about like whose mind you really have to change, and it's the government's mind. It's not the people that an individual can only do so much. Like a billionaire, what can Jeff Bezos really do? And what he's doing, he's like, well, I'm creating a whole bunch of jobs and I'm allowing these people to live in a comfortable environment wherever they're at. So if they're in Texas, they're getting paid, $5 above the minimum wage. They're in New Jersey, they're getting paid, $1 above minimum wage. They get to get a paycheck and they get to do whatever they want with that money. And I know that by giving them a job, I'm keeping them off the street because that's what the police want. That's what the families want. They want to see you at work. As long as they see you working, they won't impede on your freedoms. And if you can only work in a warehouse, hopefully you'll find somebody else that you can work in pairs with, and then you can get your own apartment. Or you can go ahead and sign up for Section 8 and you'll still be a working person, and now you have your own place. Like, that's what he's thinking. And then he's looking at the homeless people and he's like, I can't do anything for you guys because I'm providing a basic necessity for you to be free. And if you can't even do that, then how am I supposed to help you out? You know what I mean? So he has a stop gate. He stops right there. He's like, yo, I'm not helping you out anymore. As long as you can work, I can help you out. But if you can't work, then I can't help you out. And that's what a lot of people do. And then get the taxpayers get pissed off because they're like, we're the only ones that are helping these homeless people. We're helping them, but they're still on the street. Like, how can we get them off the street? And I'm telling you, it comes down to one main thing. It's happiness. Like, how do you make that person happy? Give that person what they're seeking, but they can't get it on their own. And there's a lot of individuals that are following the rules and they're getting screwed over by those rules. Screwed over by those rules. Like guardianship, for example, they should do an evaluation every 2-3 years to see if that person still needs to be under guardianship. And my sisters were talking about that. They were like, Britney Spears, her parents had control over her money and they were abusing it. And the only reason why they got caught is because they were abusing a lot of money. But you have these smaller situations where it's like, I'm receiving disability and then they're controlling how much money comes to me. Isn't that bullshit? Isn't that a I don't know if you guys understand that. Like, that disability check should be coming straight to me, but it goes to them first. And then after they decide what to do with it, then it goes to me. So if they want to withhold however much money they want to withhold, they'll withhold it. But my main thing was that the only reason why they got guardianship over me was so that they can control what happens to me if I go to the hospital for my mental illness. So when they did the evaluation for the guardianship, they checked me out, and the doctor said that I was incapacitated. And I'm like, all right, whatever. That's because I was sitting there and they were asking me questions, and then I started getting pissed off. I was like, what the fuck are you asking me questions for? Like, stop asking me questions. So I just started saying, he was like, do you remember where you went to high school? I was like, I don't know. And he's like, do you remember where you went to elementary school? I was like, I don't know. How old are you? I was like, I don't know. So I just kept on saying I don't know to those questions, and that's what made them be like, okay, you're incapacitated. And I'm like, how am I incapacitated? I'm just, I have an attitude. I'm combative. If anything, I'm combative. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking to myself earlier. I was like, bro, that's why they said I was incapacitated, because I was just answering these questions all like fragrantly, or whatever I'm trying to think of. But yeah, but because I'm incapacitated, because the court has said that I'm incapacitated, I can't even fight the fact that they have guardianship over me. So they said that it's until somebody dies, that guardianship will continue. And I'm just like, holy shit, I got screwed over by the system. And this system is meant to control you. It's meant to control you. And the people that are controlling you, just watch out for who's controlling you. Because when a person wants control over you, it usually means that it's bad news for you. That's what it typically means. So, you know, just watch out. Just watch out, because people will take control over you at any moment, any chance they can get. As soon as you show weakness, they're on top of you. You know how they say, like, the lion pride, when the male lion is old and too old to do what he needs to do, they start attacking him. The girl lions start attacking him. That's what happens in the real world too. Once you start messing up, you can see it. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Do you see these jails? Yes, that's what happens, bro. Once you start messing up, once they see weakness in you, they attack the fuck out of you. And you have to try to stand strong. Now, how did I almost get attacked? How did I almost get defeated? I'm telling you, when they were like, pick, either you stay in the hospital and go to the county hospital. So there's jail, and then there's county, and then there's hospital, and then there's max hospital. I don't know how to explain it, but jail, county. So hospital, county hospital. Think of it like that. After you get to county hospital, it's really hard to get you out. And they knew that. Like, my sister Belinda had that knowledge. She knew for a fact. It's like, listen, I can put you into county hospital. And when I put you there, it's going to be very hard to take you out. I have guardianship over you, but I don't want you in the house if you're not taking your medication. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I could have been in that spot where it's like, I could have been more combative and been like, all right, screw you. Sometimes I wish I did, just to state a fact. But like, you had to swallow the bullet. You have to swallow the bullet. And that's essentially what I did, bro. I was just like, all right, fine. You want to send me to county hospital? All right, fine. Let me confer with my fucking voices real quick. Let's talk this out. Let's see what's going to happen. And I talked it out with myself, and I was just like, you know what? Let's take our chances at home. Let's take our medication. And I just started taking my medication. And then that's essentially that. And it's a scary story, because who would you want to tell that to? It's like, bro, I seriously almost got put away for a very long time by my own family's hand. And by knowing that, you know what I mean? Like, my mom would have taken me back. You know, she would have taken me back as many times as possible. But would I have ever gotten better? That's the question. So, was it a necessary choice to give me? Probably. Could it have been done another way? Probably. But did I need that fork in the road to decide to be like, okay, let me start taking my medication? I have another theory. Now, when I was in the hospital and I was just like, all right, I'm not going to take my meds, right? I finally got caught in the hospital where it's just like, okay, he's not taking his medication. He's spitting it out. So they catch me. They finally catch me. I went to the hospital like 2 or 3 times and I've done this. I've spit out my medication and I haven't taken it. Then I finally got caught. That same time that I got caught was when they made that decision where it's just like you either go to county hospital or you can take your medication and come home. And I was just like, I was, you know, taking a shot and then I was just like spitting it back out. And then the lady was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh shit. So I just gulped down the 2 pills and then I started taking my meds. And it was because of that time that I took the meds was when my brain started working. And it was just like, all right, dude, you're getting screwed over. If you don't take your medication, you can go home. But if you take your medication, they'll let you go home. Dude, start taking your medication. It was because I downed those pills in the hospital that I made that decision. But it was also that ultimatum by Belinda where it was just like, if you don't take your medication, you're not coming home. And all that came together at one point. Like it was like what do they call it? A boomer? A canon event. It was like a canon event. You know what I mean? Now, I think canon events happen when it's like I started smoking weed and then I got schizophrenia. So that will always happen. That always happens. And this was a point in time where it could have split off into many different directions, but I took one direction, whatever that means. You know what I mean? Oh my God, I just talked for 22 minutes. I want to put this on TikTok because I'm scared of TikTok. Like I want people to listen to my stories, but then I'm just like, nobody listens to these. Nobody listens to these. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to listen to this? Nobody's going to listen to this. But I know Ryan listens to these. So, like, I don't know how he does it. I guess he likes to just sit there and just freaking just listen. I I applaud him for doing that because he'd be like, yo, I'd be watching your videos. And I'm like, bro, no, you don't. And then he's like recounting events from my videos. And I'm like, oh shit, you're watching my videos. Like, because I don't even think when I do these videos. Like sometimes I don't think, but I'm gonna start thinking a lot more because I have, like I said, a bunch of different ideas that I'm writing out, and I'm just like, I have so much to share. But yeah, let me end it there. This was a long video. It should have been long format, but whatever. All right, peace out, guys.